Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Svelte Weekend. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Um, I see you guys are here. And it's a week. I can't believe it's already a week. Um, Hello, Brett. Hi, nice to meet you. Hope you are doing well. And yeah, as I said, it's oh, hello. Well, welcome back to Svelte Weekend again. It's been a week, and we have been building our Svelte clone of the Google Sheet. We call it Svit, called Sheet Google Sheet with Svit. And let me show you what we have built over the past couple of weeks so far. So this is our ninth Svelte weekend. Although it's not since the start until now, it's not just 9 weeks. It's more than that because I took some weeks off. Um, but nonetheless, this is our ninth live stream, and this is what we have done so far. Okay, so we have managed to build this whole layout, and then we are able to have some basic editing experience, like just type in like this, and you can also do formulas like say H9, and then you can see it's using a Svelte store, so it's reactive, so you can change directly, and then you will see that it's update immediately, and you can see your formulas over here, and you also can change which cell you are looking at. So for example, if I want to jump to H13 and hit enter, and then you see this cursor jumps over here. And over the last couple of weeks, we also managed to build some of this menu bar. We managed to also come over here and format it, like say do some underline, italic, bold to format this cell. And the last week, what we have done is we managed to do like resizing. Although you can see it's a bit not that nice because as you drag, it seems like trying to select some of the text, and then it's like blinking here and there. It's not that nice, but yeah, nonetheless, you are able to resize the column. But I just realized that yeah, you can resize the column. So we managed to do this, right? Um, Resize D, resize back. But I realize sometimes it doesn't really always work. Something is probably a bit off over here. And we managed to do that only for the column. We never haven't we should be able to reuse the logic for the rows where we can resize the rows. So that is something that we probably will explore today. And let me refresh this page. So you can resize over here. You drop it in, and one thing you realize is as I drag this, there's this guideline over here. But if I a little bit, scroll down a little bit, you see that it's gone. That guideline is gone, and I'm just dragging something that is see a bit floating on the bottom. Right? If I drag more, you can see that I can't even manage to find that thing. So apparently, I guess it's because it's that guide this guideline is within this scrollable environment, and then it's positioned to be like the top position within that scrollable area. So as we scroll, we kind of scroll away that grid line, and that's why you can't really see and drag it. So that's something we need to fix as well. So yeah, let's jump into solve all these issues one by one. Okay, so this is my code that we have so far. So if this is the first time you are coming, if you wanna follow up with all of the past live streams, you can find it um, on my YouTube channel, right? I think it's called Live, and then you can find all the past live streams that we have done so far. Okay, and if you want to find the code, you could find it in my on my GitHub. I will definitely drop the link um, into the live stream as well. So this is what we have done since the last week, resizable column, right? So today we are going to do um, O9, right? So this is for all the one commit per live stream. Okay, so let's get back to the code. So this is the code exactly what you will find on GitHub. And let's see. We are at the Svelte, right? I think. And then we also have the column resize guide. Um, so let's see what we have so far. So column resize guide. So it's an object that tells us which column that we are resizing, what is the position, what's the limit, and then once it's being set, I think if we try and find this, can pass it into these components, and then we show it out over here. I think once this is a value, we will start showing this guide, and we are able to resize. We are able to hold on to it and resize it, right? So I think it's added to this to the guide. We have a um, action where I think drag. Let's see this action. So start when we have our mouse holding onto it, then we will start dragging, and then we will also use that value that we get, the column, the left, which column they are resizing, and then the limit, and then we use it to consider when we start to drag, so we don't go less than the limit. Right. So the style, I think we use absolute positioning and then top. Let's see. I think we can start with fixing this scrollable thing. You see, it's like this, and then it kind of able to scroll it away. So let's see what we can do over here. Maybe we can change this to. Okay, so first of all, let me make it always showing. Okay. Hey, hold on. This is not by Tran. Opacity. Show pointer events transform container. The header guide. Background, guide color. Yeah. You just show us the hold on. This is the speed. Okay, let's go back to this one. This is our local run version. Okay, so now it's always showing, right? And then we scroll, it's scrolling up. So see, maybe we can set, maybe use position fix. Will that help? Then it will be fixed to the top. Oh no, yeah, okay. So how about we change to sticky? Sticky, it seems like it's not showing anywhere. Where's my, let's inspect. Okay. Ah, so it's sticky, then it's by default it's relative at its own relative position, which is at the bottom of this thing over here, which is, yeah, which is not what we want as well. So I think it's not fixed, still be absolute, but then we need to, we want it to be in this container, so that when we scroll on the left, it follows it, right? So it's a children of this scrollable container, right? So this container, this main is something that is scrollable, and then we have this thing as an absolute position so that we can scroll left and right. It still follows without us doing anything. But then if it's like this, then if you try to scroll up and down, then it's also being scrolled up and down. So we have to choose um, unless we have two different containers, one is scrolling left, one is scrolling up, and then we fix it at one of this, um, fix it at one of the um, position, right? Or else it will always be like this, right? So let me think. So here I can't use sticky because sticky by default is relative unless it's being scrolled all the way up until it's scrolled to hide it, then it becomes sticky. Right? I can use sticky. I can use absolutes. I can use fix. Fix then it will fix to the view parts, not the container. Um, then in that case, I guess we could let's see. We could keep track of the scrolling and then make it we could add this before this grid. Let's see. We could have this right before the grid. This. And then we made it a sticky. Right. But then the height itself is a bit weird. Okay, because it has its own full height, then it's pushing my grid down. Okay, let's see. What if this one is, see if it's this is position is absolute. So our left equals to 0 pixel. So top as well. How about this? Yeah, then we have our grid as absolute. We can still scroll. And then this itself is sticky, so it's always to the top. Then I guess we kind of fix this problem. Yep. Hold on. Can I? Yep. I guess it's kind of working. Yep. So what happens is what I did was that I managed to make I use sticky. I continue to use a position. I use a position sticky on this thing, but what that means is that by default it's like a relative positioning, right? So if I think this the order doesn't matter now if I use absolute, right? Okay, so let me explain what I did over here, right? So I have my column resize guide, which is this component, this thing. I place it to be a position sticky, which allows me to stick to the top when I scroll up and down. Okay, but by default, when you apply this and you have other elements in the screen, then it will be something like this header, right? It placed at its own natural position. So own natural position by default for this thing will be after the this div, right? If we have a div and then have that thing, then it will be placed after it. So by default, this div has a certain height, certain width. Then of course it will be placed after, which is like bottom below this thing, right? below. So this will be placed below. So just now, if you see, if I don't have anything, by default, it will be placed below, right? So you will scroll all the way down and you'll see this thing, right? Placed afterwards. And because of position sticky, then if you try to scroll past, then it will stick over here. So if you can keep scrolling, then you can see this is actually being stick to the top, right? But if you scroll down, then you don't have it. Okay, so actually in this case, I could also make it the bottom 0 because we have the same height. Oh yeah. Um Yeah, but because it still takes up some space, right? Although we have sticky, you will still take up. By default, it's like if you scroll past it, it will stick at one place. But if you scroll uh, into it, then you will see that it's placed in its natural position until you scroll away again. That's how sticky usually works. So which means that if we scroll down, you'll still see this thing over here because this thing have this it's taking up space at the bottom of this scrollable area. Okay, so that's not what we want. We don't want it to be like that. So we want it to be only taking up its own space if we could. um so what can we do, right? So there's of course a lot of ways that you can come about, but I was just thinking, since one thing is maybe if I only have this thing, right? If I only have this indicator without anything else, for example, if I try to comment away this whole sheet, oops, I mean, yeah, if I take away this whole sheet, then if I have a scrollable area, this you can see this on the left and right. You can still I'm still scrolling, but then this will stick to the top, right? And no extras sort of like no extra space being created. I can scroll like this. So this is what I want, right? So is it able to have this sheet back, but still not um, push extra space, or have this thing be on the screen but not taking up any extra space? Well, we could use, or we could add position absolute to it, right? This is one way lah. Of course there's multiple ways of doing it. One way is absolute position absolute. So anything that's not relative, like absolute or fixed, basically what it does is you'll be taken out of the original flow, meaning by default it will not take up any space anymore. Okay, so this container itself, the space of the height of this container no longer depends on the um, height, or like the spacing this container needs. So yeah, it does not generate any space for this anymore. And but how does it have still have like look so nice? That's because within this container it has a lot of cells, and each cells actually have a fixed we actually fix the height and the width, so it pushes and expands this container itself, right? So with that, we have this. Yeah, with that we are able to place this div, it's inside here without taking out any space, right? So without taking any space, then this thing itself, it's just placed like as normal as relative. And yeah, and now we have made it sticky, right? So let me take a look. If I scroll over here, it feels a bit weird. It's like extra column that's being created. Oh, oops. Do we have anything? Let me see. Do we have anything that's taking up any extra spaces for this one? Okay, this is our scrollable. This is our container. This one. Okay, now it takes up some width, which is weird. Okay, so here we don't want it to have any width. So we can say, Okay, so we can give width of, I think this one. This 5 pixel, which is good enough, I think. No, it's not following. Let's see, inspect. Am I scrolling? What am I scrolling into? Oh, hold on. Let me fix this code first. Var. That's fine. This thing. Now it's all margin. Wait, hold on. Let me clear all the margin. Position sticky. With height. Huh. Why is it taking up some space over here? This one. Oops. Okay, now it's time to have a lot of trying to think about CSS. Okay, so here we have minus the row header with row header with. Where did I do that? Okay. Good question. Row header with style column height. This one, let's see. Well, now you can see this is really extra space. You can now see it's really not I did not prepare anything ahead of time. This is really live coding. Okay, let me see. Let me see what's wrong over here. This thing. Let me find. Okay, this has extra grid. No. I scroll. Yeah, this creates extra grid for some reason. Grid template columns. Grid row header. Column width. Number of. Oh, hold on. There should be number of columns. How did we not even catch this early on? Oh, but increase decrease columns, we will increase decrease over here. And then this is based on number of columns. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. How did we not even notice this? Okay, which means which means this logic is not right. Okay, so here we pass in the wrong value, and then here we increase and decrease. So which means here it's not quite right, because if it's number of rows is actually greater than that, which means this one is wrong. This one has to column with okay, this whole logic is wrong because we actually add the header height and width in here, right? So we don't have to have this, we don't have to have +1 over here at all. Just number of columns or number of rows. Okay, right? So this is correct now. Although even initial value is wrong, this one we fix it by increase, decrease the columns. So I think this extra space is now kind of fixed. Okay, but if I A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so now it seems working, but if I scroll, it's off, right? So I think next thing is we need to see where are we scrolling, right? If I do absolute positioning, maybe when we set absolute positioning, we upset some of our layouts when we do a scrolling. This one looks okay because it's scroll past. So this is our resize guide. Our resize guide should, okay, so our resize guide should be based on some scroll position, right? So console log scroll X. This is the container. We pass it in container, main container. Okay. Here, we hover, and then let's see our console log. Now we are, hey, hold on. We haven't dragged. Okay. So scroll a bit. Scroll X. Oh no, okay. Our X position here. When we set, so in column resize guide, we should show, okay, so this X position is based on the left position, plus the, hey, is it? I don't know what I'm trying to do here. This is off. So this is not following as we scroll. So where are we scrolling and why is this thing not following? Right. So if it's sticky, then it's apps. If it's sticky, then it's now it's in hold on. I think this one I just randomly add. That shouldn't be the right thing to do. Let's get back to what we have. So here, let's refresh this page. So here, if I hover, it's like this. But as we scroll, it does not scroll together with the container. So let's see if we have this. We have this thing placed like this. The position of the left position is fixed. The left position is being fixed. So it's sticky, and then it's like this. Okay. So I guess we can add another. I can add another. So I make it always to be this. I don't have I don't provide this left. Okay, let me try not to give it left, because if I set a left position and top position in an element with a sticky, then it will stick there when I try to scroll away. So it will always be stick at this. It will kind of like fix at one position and it's not scrolling away. So here, the place that we add the left is this one. And we added this because just because we want to shift it a bit to the left, right? So I think it's safe to remove this thing. Then if I have here and I scroll, now it's scrollable. It's just that now it seems like it's offsetted a bit to the right. Let's refresh. If I keep this, then you will see that it's also okay. Never mind. This one, I think what we want is more of like we shift it a bit to the left so that it's like center on this guideline. So I can do this with a transform actually as well. I don't have to do the left position. And we translate by guide width um, divided by 2, right? I think. So it's center aligned. Calculate that, refresh. Oh, it's not centered. Let me check. Anything wrong with my transform? Okay. Is it because I cannot um right with is it my spelling? Transform translate. Oh, because I have it over here as well. Okay, so here transform translate, and then this is being override. Okay. So here, then I just don't need this. Just keep using this thing, translate X. And then here, what we can is we minus off the guide with, then I guess I can just write this way, maybe calculate this one minus var guide with, I guess it's a bit messy now. But let's see whether this works first. Calculate this minus this, right by 2. Get a bracket over here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, now it's center aligned on this guideline, and then we can drag, and then it is also scrollable, right? And then I can drag. It's nicer now. So of course this is not that nice. I think one way we can have is maybe we can have this guide with coming somewhere from define it on JavaScript, because here we are like kind of not sure whether I'm scrolling a bit too fast. I'm not sure I'm scrolling a bit too fast, but let's okay. So here my style over here. I probably have this transform written over here. um, using some value from the JavaScript and some value from the CSS variables that is being declared over here, which ended up having some awkward kind of calculation like this. And for guide width, at least for now, as far as I can see, there's nothing wrong that we can to declare this variable um, as a JavaScript variable, and then we pass it into CSS, right? And at least with that, we don't have to use calculate in our translate. We can minus it off directly and then it in JavaScript before we pass it into CSS. Right. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable. So we're going to call const guide width equals to 5, exactly what we define over here. And I'm gonna remove this line now because I'm gonna define it um, in JavaScript, and I'm gonna pass it in from the element from here, right? So here I can say style guide width will be this plus pixel. It's up to you whether you want to write like a bracket and then with anything JavaScript, or you could start with this thing, and then you define some JavaScript within this string. Either way works too. So here now in our translate, we can now pass in this minus guide width divided by 2. Let me bracket it up. But even without bracket, it's the priority of calculation is always division before we do subtraction, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, here we pass it in like this, and let's save this a bit, and let me look through again. I think everything should be fine now. This one we just added in. Yeah, this one we just added in. Let me remove this and see whether it matters, because we just realized that the width that you get is because of the grid itself, not because the calculation of the grid template itself, but not because of this this guideline over here, right? So if I hover here and then I try to scroll, yeah, no extra width. So we don't even have to define the width over here at all. It's nothing to do with it. Right. So now I can resize smaller, resize bigger, resize smaller. Okay, looks great. It's of course it's not hiding away by itself because we disabled that just now when we want to try to figure things out. Now just set back to 0. And just now also we added some style attributes over here. I feel like this one it don't have to be like that. We can define a class. This is the what's this? This is the Svelte class. Fit. Fit. And this is the position absolute. Save this. Nothing changed. It's just a bit of cleanup in the code wise, right? So here, okay, so we fixed our first issue where this is scrolling away when we scroll down, right? So now it's fixed by using some position absolute fix, and now we can resize however we want with our column. Okay. So the second thing is, if you scroll this past, sometimes you may ended up like yeah, I can't replicate it exactly, but it kind of ended up like selecting multiple column name over here as you scroll. Let's see whether if it's because how do I replicate that? No, let me try again. Okay. If I try to move left, right, I guess it's trying to select text. And if I have some text written, and see whether this will. this will select the text as well. So I find I guess by default you can't select the text anywhere. Um, it should not be able to select like text like this, even whether you are scrolling or not. So here we're gonna fix that by remove the by using a CSS call. I think it's text select. Yeah, user select, right? Which means you cannot select the text. If you say none, you can't select text. You say text, you can select the text. I think it has other. You could also select other parts and stuff like that, right? So for us, we're gonna say none, not allowing to select the text of the element and also its sub elements, right? It's an image or anything else, right? So here, I think first of all, see whether it in so the user select is not an inherited property. So meaning if I try to set on the Svelte, which is the parent container, it will not be inherited down. So meaning if I set it as text select none, I think the children will still be selectable. So is it? Let me try and see just to prove my point. If I come over here and say user select go to none. Oh no, it's not. You can't select anymore. Right. Oh, hold on. None. Oh, WebKit and Chromium base do implement the property as inherited, which violates the behavior described in the specs. This will bring some issues. Okay. So can't show it with my Chrome over here. So I guess just we'll have to take we'll just leave it be like this for now. Hold on. Let me see whether I have the browsers installed in this machine. No, I do not. So I'm gonna download one in a moment. And okay, I think this. Oh, this is fast. Let's see. Okay, this is fast. So let's try and see. Okay, so if I whether I can still select the words. No, I can't. I can't anymore. Yeah, I can select this text. I can't select the text over here. So, okay, not quite sure I understand the word correctly. Then in that case, I'm just leave it be for now. Okay, let's see what's next. So if I have this, if I stopped here and okay, if I seems like if I go down and leave my mouse, then this will stuck here forever and see why in the code. So if I on drag on mouse out header guide. On mouse up, dispatch resize. I guess I should also unhint the resize column, maybe. Let's see, I'm not quite sure. Up here, fresh. Okay, so if I drag, release, okay, I think that's what we're aiming for. So even if this one also will have to unhint and then do not let it stay sticky. Yep. Okay, that's great. So now we have our vertical resize column. I guess the next thing is we will also need to make it horizontal, right? Okay, let's see. I can scroll past. Okay. Now we will have to see whether we can make this to be something that we can resize our rows as well. So let's see how much we can reuse of this logic over here. Huh. So the drag. Oh, imagine most of this logic is on the drag action, right? Of course, the this part as well could be something that we can also refactor extract it out. Then we left with a few variables, and then of course we'll have some of this in here. This parts for CSS wise, it will be a bit hard if we want to reuse because it'll be flipped, right? The height will be based on the column row height. No, the height will be the guide with the guide height for the horizontal grid, and then the width will be actually based on the column width, header the header width, right? So a lot of things a bit here like height or width, right? The height will be one, and then the width will be 100%, and a lot of them are like going to be flipped. So I guess it'll be a bit hard, a bit hard if you want to completely reuse this CSS over here. So what I am going to do is going to copy all this, and oh no, actually I'm gonna just copy the file, right, and gonna paste it and replace it. I'm gonna have paste the whole thing. So this is called row resize guide. So what's different is the name is gonna be, well, everything is gonna flip, right? So the width will be the height. So one thing I could do is I can do the find and replace. Right, width is to height, and I can width is to height, and I can click on this one. This is the, so this one with this mode, this will keeps the case of the words that I'm going to replace, right? So this will only search for lowercase, but I want to search lower and uppercase, like this width and this width over here. But when I replace, I want to replace and preserve the case. So for example, if I hit this, you'll see that this is replaced to lowercase. This will replace to the uppercase. But if I do this, then this is supposedly to be the width, right? Then I can't do the height to the width the other way around because I have no idea what was the one which one was originally the width or the height. So I'm gonna do like some sort of like in place replacement, but a bit different. So here I'm gonna call it this X, something that I don't have it. Replace all as X first. on, replace all. And then for the height, I'm going to replace them as width. So you see that this still preserve the case. This preserve the, so this one, the case will be preserved. And then this one, I'm going to replace it back to height. Okay. No, so you just did a swap between the height and the width. Okay. So height and width. I think that's it. Um, then for, let's see, let's try to use this thing. So I'm going to use the row resize guide. This will be the row header width container column resize guide position. And then here, oh no, this is going to be the row resize guide position. And this will be on unhinged resize row. And then resize row. So here we will have to do another round of replacing the row with the column, column with the row, right? So I'm going to say row with the X, maintaining the case, and then column to row, and then this to column. Actually, nothing to change from this, right? Because everything is just column. There's no row version of this in the code. So we replace this, and then here, some of these things are not defined yet, so we're gonna do it. So this is the column resize guide position, and I have the row resize guide position. This is the row. This is the top position. Top and left is gonna be something we are going to swap out, right? So here, let's try and see left. Yeah, so left top. Okay, so we're gonna have the left. They are all gonna place to the to top. And this top to the left. So let's see, row resize guide is here. Then on unhinged resize column, I think this is this one. I think this is not that interesting to look at. We are kind of like copy paste things around. This will be the row. Then this will be the height. This is row, column, header height. Slash row. Okay. Let's see. And then here, as we, this one is the scroll Y. Y will be the, okay, scroll top, that's right. And then row, top limit. And this will be the Y. Y. And this is the, we will call it with the, okay, this should be Y. It will be Y as well. This is translate Y. Everything else probably, let's see, should be correct now. So, uh, so let's refresh first of all, and let's see whether we have any errors. Refresh, everything's okay. Now where's our guide? Okay, so let's see. So here we have our container. Let's start with always showing, right? What we did just now. This is always showing. Um, okay, so I think the reason is because we did not hint the this value. It's not set anywhere, right? Hint resize column. We did not have this for the hint resize row. Here we can copy this for now. Then this one is the column heights. Oops, this is the row resize position. Top. Okay, so this one, we are going to pass it into the hint. So this one, we hint on the column header. This one going to hint on the row header. This will be column with the row, and now in a row header. So let's see, column header. How do we hint? We add a span and then we hint it there. So for the row header, we're going to do the same thing. We have this thing over here. We have it here as well. And then this is hint resize column. This is hint resize row. Of course, dispatch is not defined. Define it over here as well. And with that, let's see, refresh. Let's inspect. I probably may have missed some of the CSS. All right, so this one, we're gonna add this thing in. The width will be the other way around. Width is 100%, height is 5 pixel. Absolute right top. So this is gonna be the left and bottom. So let's try and inspect and see whether we have our resizable. Yeah, so we have that. Now if hover on top of it, it's not resize column. This is resize row. In our Svelte, this you have to call it resize row. Now here in resize row is being called. Set the row resize guide position. Okay, now see what's wrong with here. Close this. So here, okay, row resize guide position row. Okay, so if I hover, okay, it's correct. It's being triggered. Row 2, top limit, top position. Great. Okay, now are we passing this into the right place? Row resize guide position. Okay, so now this so the Y will be based on the top position. So we're passing the Y correctly in. So Y, we are passing in over here, transform, translate Y height. Okay, so now of course the position left 0, position sticky. Okay, Is it somewhere that we can't find it? Oh, it's here. Okay, okay. So now this is taking up sticky and then this is being pushed down. Oh. I think they won't be around at the same time, right? Um I think when it's not supposed to show, we make it let's say column header guide, resize guide. Um should show. I think when it's not supposed to be shown, I do the absolute positioning. Then in that case, um, it will not take up any space. And then when I should show it would sticky, then I make it able to stay scrollable. But when it's not supposed to showing, then I will make it absolute and not take up any space. So let's see, right? If I scroll, yeah. So if I have this, then it will push this thing down. That's why it's a bit weird off over here, right? If I don't have it, then it will stay at where it is. If I show it up, it's sticky, it's position sticky, and because we're not scrolling anywhere, it's relative. Then it kind of like push this thing down, have some space and push it down, right? So at least we it's not showing, we make it absolute and don't take up any space. Then the spacing wise with the sticky, it's working, right? So here I am going to this thing in like this as well and stay with 0. We have, it looks nice now. Hold on. Let me refresh first. So here, scroll. Hey, hold on. Why does it not disappear? Still staying. Should show on mouse out. Size guide. On mouse out, start dragging, which is supposed to be wrong, and column resize guide position. Um, and then we should dispatch unhinged, and uh that should set it back to undefined. Okay, but why this is oh, this is not leaving. Oh, okay. I think I roughly know what's happening. So here I unhinge resize row, right? Unhinge resize column, row resize guide. Unhinged resize column. And then this is also unhinged resize row. Okay, these are both correct. So now here, unhinged resize row. Okay, looks legit. And we are clearing them correctly. Row, guide, hit. Okay, this one. Row size, mouse out, start dragging, row resize guide position. Okay, so here, refresh this. So here, if I leave A, yeah, so this one, then it should clear up, right? Then in that case, why is it still showing? I should clear. Why is it not showing up? Here. So refresh. So here, and then if I move out, should show is false, and then should show turn back to true. Okay. Why? See whether we have a similar issue with the column. It doesn't print out anything at all. Oh, they make it reactive. Huh. I can. Okay, so if I move, I still have make it back to true. I think I need to. I think probably in. Okay, I have my guess. Let me try to here. Start dragging, row resize guide position. So I wiggle a bit and it will like this. I've a feeling that it's because once I hide it, then the underlying thing will will try to set back the row resize position, and then it will show up fast enough that I don't have time to uh I think it's just at the brink of being hidden. Um at the brink of being hidden, um it it reveals the underlying thing that we use to um set up the that we use to trigger the hinting of the row resize, and that's why it's try to set it back, right? Because from here I can see that it looks like this is being set back to not undefined, right? So we when we do this, we unhint. We should set this to undefined, the row resize guide position, but then this is being set back to something again. So the only place that we set it to a value is where we have this which is where we have hint resize row, and only one place which is over here, which is the row header, right? So so I guess we can hint resize row. We can try to have some cooldown on this. Um, yeah, or we could say, for example, here we I think this might alleviate a bit. Should hint this one, and we go in and say if this is true, only then we render this span. In this case, should hint when this is not defined. In this case, probably will not as easy to replicate anymore, because when I move away, then it will need a round of re-rendering, um, right, to actually remove this guide as well as to show the thing up, right? And as we do that, then um, yeah, it just not creating that hint element that's fast to order in order to us to being trapped and hinting the row resize thing. I guess that's one way to that we work around in this thing. So let's see our resize whether the row resize works. So yeah, we spent a while to make this thing. It feels a bit weird, a bit over uh design this. But let's skip this for now. I think we'll just keep this for this as well. And then maybe we will get back to this and see whether is there a better way to do this. I've been saying that a lot. I feel like I've been bearing a lot of leads. Um, not even sure whether I am able to go back and fix them. Anyway, so one thing I realized is, let me refresh this. One thing I realized is this cursor is wrong. This is pointing to the right. I think we should point it down, right? Row resize guide. This should be down, which is should be row cursor. It should be the south resize. And then secondly, this guide is not at the right position, man. This is correct. This is off. Okay, so why right row guide margin top? I can't remember what's the margin for. Okay, should push it down. Margin. Okay, sorry. Let me. Okay, I'm guessing this margin is the one that's pushing it down. So now it's bottom align and then it's showing. Okay, I can't drag down as well. Something is wrong with the dragging. Let's look at dragging first. So as we drag, we have the event client Y that solves the problem. Scroll Y, scroll top. Um, Somehow this offset a lot. Top limit 10. Let's see what's the on top. Event client Y. Hold on, this one is event client X. Oh, okay. Um, it's because when we scroll, we always look at the screen, but on when we scroll for the resize the column, we the leftmost is always on the left, so we don't have any issues. But when we resize top down, we have this whole header, right? This part, this header is pushing our content down, so we cannot just calculate from the top to this. We cannot include. We need to minus off this height so that our guide is relative here, right? Right now we include this whole thing, then it's this is pushing it down way further down, right? So we need to minus off something. So I think what we need to minus off is um, the containers uh, position, right? So let's see, where's our this is our container, okay? So I guess the top offset, this one is should be something like top offset equals to container dot I guess we can get the rect top position. And this one we can minus this off. Top limit. Yep. And let's see. Now, yep, it's nicely now, right? So it doesn't jump because we minus off that offset. Of course, still something is a bit off. That is the grid line is still aligned at the bottom. So now maybe we can see whether we could figure a way to position it correctly. right? So first of all, let's make the should show to always be true, so we can see the line now. I think we also make it the dragging to true. So it's dragging through, then this will draw this line. And then now let's try to, hold on, let's refresh. Let's try to inspect our element and then figure out what is the style that we need. Push it up. Row resize guide, right? So here, this guide, so we added this thing called the margin bottom. I think margin bottom is just going to push things down, not pushing itself up. Margin top, if we do a negative, are we going to go up negative? Okay, so it will. So I think this thing is what we are looking for, right? We are going to might make it negative. Let's see, opacity. See whether it works. Yep. Except that it feels like it's off a little bit. I think we like this. This is more center aligned. Right. I wonder what is +1. Oh, sorry. +1 pixel. This is center aligned. I think this is great. We have it aligned, center aligned now. This is nice. Hold on, something's. So every time when you refresh, you see that this thing is being. There's a flash. Not quite sure what is it. But I believe it's because render disable JavaScript, because it flashes, right? So I believe this is the server-side rendered content with CSS, but without some CSS to hide things. It feels like this. And then as you enable CSS and does like JavaScript and then continue rendering, on the client side, it jumps back to this initial state. So I think what we can see is that maybe is there some initial states that we can use to we can set that on the server side when it renders it renders a slightly more correct content. Um, but I think for now I'm just gonna let it go first because I'm not quite sure. It might be a witch hunt and it will take a while to figure that out. But anyway, here we are able to do some resizing now. Feels a bit off. Let's see. I think it's not. it's not that fluid. It does not really hide itself, although just now we did some work for that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. Not quite sure why. But anyway, we managed to copy, paste, edit, replace the row and the column. They are kind of seemingly similar, but also have its own differences. Right here, we added another new logic in. If you look left and right here, for the column, for the row, we added another offset. Wait, hold on. This is row. This is a column. For the row, we added another offset. Um, looks almost the same, but slightly different. But I think we can do with the variable name. Um, I think first of all is once this logic is mostly like shallow, and we realize that yeah, they are mostly the same. We can take it out. We can refactor into a function that does um, that is we just have the code once and then have some variables that tweak whether it's either left or top or right or bottom, right? um but we could also not do it, we just keep two copies of the same code. The reason is that if we are not going to change this often, then it's not going to bother us, except it's yeah, two copies of like 90% similar code. Right. Of course, unless you realize that every time you need to change on both sides, then maybe that's when you can consider to say, yeah, make it more similar and then um, refactor it out as a separate function, right? Because or else over here, if we continue to work on it, abstract it out, we might make it more generic, and then we will have to pass in a lot of different flags like have offset or not, whether it's an X or Y, stuff like that, and which has not much of a uh, gain if we just leave it like this and we're not going to change it for a very very long time, right? So that is some considerations that you may have when you want to decide whether you want to. I mean, refactor always feels good um, to your eye and to your soul, but sometimes it just works that does not benefit like the users at all. I mean, not say is it doing the disservice. It's more of like if um, it's just like they won't feel like when they all they care of is using a good application, does not really care about whether the application is written in a good code, right? Nicely refactored, abstracted code. But of course, I guess we can explore a bit on that, um, how we can abstract it out. So at least we can maybe have some useful, um, maybe have some interesting things um, for the last few, maybe 10 minutes that we have, right? It's always nice to refactor something in the last 10 minutes and then hopefully everything still works fine. Um, so I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna create a folder called resize guide. I'm gonna group the two things together. I mean the two resize guides into a folder, and then at least they shared the same actions. So as I move them, I of course have to update my imports. So here, um, I can see that my extension is nicely doing it that for me for the row, but not for the column. Not sure why. Um, okay. Let's see. I have this do out, and here I'm gonna add create a few files that is like useful, right? I think first of all is the this one. Um, this function is kind of similar on both sides, except that one is to increase a row with like 20 as the row, and then one is the width, which is 50, a number of columns, which is 50, the default value. So of course we could come up with a action to take this out first. So I'm gonna copy this, um, create sizes, paste this in. So this function, I'm gonna call it create. Oh, sorry, create a function called create sizes, and I'm gonna have a default size, and also default um for amount. Okay, so this will basically do this for me, an array of the default amount, and then fill with the default size, because this will be the array. Okay, and of course I also need a function that does the increase and decrease, decrease sizes. So this is the sizes array, and this is the increase decrease sizes, and then new amount, which is a number, and I can basically take this in and put it over here. So this is the array. Okay, so this is the array itself. Then the number of rows will be actually the new amount. And then the sizes array is this one, right? So increase and decrease sizes, then this will basically, so this, when you do a setting like this, then it actually does not work anymore, because essentially this assignment only kicks off reactivity when it's in a Svelte component. So now it does not work anymore. So one thing you could do is maybe you return the new value. Okay, that's one way you could do. And then when we are using it, we're gonna say, let me show you here, right? So this is the split. So when we're using it, we can say, let's row height new equals to the create sizes. So the default amount is number of rows, and then fill it with 20. And now this returns in the, this is actually, well, we haven't returned it anything. Return the sizes array. I think I'm going to use array, since a tuple, since it's two things only, like this. Yeah, and then so increase, decrease rows. And then I'm going to use it. I'll be say like row heights new equals to the increase decrease rows when we have something like a new number of rows. Okay. So if it returns, then we will have to do this to keep it. If yeah, I mean this returns. Oh, okay. Slice, yeah, slice return. Why is it saying not? Void is not this. Oh, okay. New. Right now, this will, that this will returns this new value, right? So this is one way. If you return an array, then you will have to do this instead of just doing this, because you cannot assign a variable directly. Another way would be making, of course, because you are not in a Svelte component, then to have reactivity and change something, change a variable, and in a non-Svelte components, then you would have to reach out to get a store, right? So say for example, you get a writable store. Now this is a writable store. Then of course, if it's a store, then you kind of can't get the um, you can't access it directly anymore because it's a store, right? So that also is in that way we can will do then call an update to update it. So this is the sizes array. Then we have the store value. Now we have to update the store value itself instead. Something like this. Um, so now this does not have to return anything, right? But then this will become a store instead. So it's up to you how you want to define it. So now it's like every time number of rows, just call this function and it will set updates the thing. Right? Hey, what's the error here? Let's decrease row new. Hold on. This expression is okay. Okay, I think this just need to as cons. So you will just call this directly, and then that's it, right? You will don't have to uh assign a return value to some other variables, right? So this is the row height, the new row height. So I'm going to replace this. Let's see where we are going to use the row height. Hint. I think let's do this for now. Row heights, resize row. Okay, so increase, decrease row we can remove already. And then this one, we are just making it new. This is the row heights. This is this one. And we don't have to, I guess, it's working as well. Row heights, right? We assess it as a store now. So we can have the same thing for column as well. Of course, this one, right, like this. So for column, we can reach out as well. Column widths, increase, decrease columns equals create sizes, number of columns, and then default is 50. And in that case, we can remove this. And increase, decrease columns can be removed now. It's the same. We have to refactor into create sizes already. Then also column widths, we have to access it as star. Okay. Now, next thing is also here, you realize that both have this resize function, right? Resize is to take in a value, um, whether it's X column or Y row, and then you calculate a new, you calculate the value and then minus off the header, figure out which row or column to update and then modify it. In that case, we could also take it in and then be part of the sizes function, right? Something like here. So this is the resize sizes. Because now it's not just, you need to know whether it's Y row or whether it's a X column. So that's something that we will probably can pass it in. Let's see. So now we want to expand to have more options over here. So I think a better way is make it an object so that we don't have to know each position, which position is what value, right? So let's add those things, right? So axis, I'm going to call it axis, is the X or Y. And then maybe the another thing would be the uh, this one, row or column. So I guess I'm going to call it index. Um, Pardon me if I is using some unconventional variable name. So anyway, here I can now say it's a custom event. I don't know what's the value, right? So I'm just gonna make it unknown. Okay, so here this will be a more generic one, right? So here we have the axis equals to event dot detail. This is the value, this, and then const row, and this is the index, right? Oh shit! And I am gonna call it index axis. Now this is generic enough, and then now this y will all be value, and then the row will be index, and this one column header height. So I need another variable, right? So it's like the is a header size. Okay, so here I'm gonna call it header size. Size is a number. This is the header size. And now here, again, we will have to update this size array, and then we need, this is the size array, but we can't do this dollar prefix variable in a JavaScript file. Anyway, we're gonna update the size array. So we're gonna do this whole thing in the updates callback function, where here we can get the store value. And in here, we're going to return the sizes array. This is the value, right? Our value is no, this is the index axis. Index. So I wouldn't say this is height anymore. This is the set. Okay, so now return resize sizes. So this array now, let's see, we are in the Svelte component. Here we have the resize column and resize row. This will have to have more variables now, right? The default size, default amount. This is the default size. And we have the, what else? We have the header size axis and next axis. Header size will be the, let's see, what's the resize row header size is the column header height. So, okay, and then we have the axis, and in this case will be the y and row, right? So this is y, the index axis is row. Okay. Now we can basically replace this size row away. Oops. And for resize column, the same thing. It's x column and row header width, right? So let's go back up. It's x. This is x. this column. Header size is row, header width, default amount, this default size. This is resize column. Now we can remove the resize column function totally. We don't need it anymore. And let's take a look. So as I said, this all refactoring is just for us, a developer, right? Because if you go back to the code, everything looks the same. The user don't feel anything, except that maybe we feel better for ourselves because the code looks mm, cleaner now. Everything is in a function called create sizes, and we can create sizes for two different axes. Okay, so now we have this two. Let's see, we have, what else do we have more? We have the the guide position, right? This two feels almost the same. Let's see, we can, hold on, scroll. We have the hint resize column or row, hint resize this one, right? They both looks similar. So we are going to, let's see, hint resize. We're going to create another function called the size hints. Okay, so here we can have a function that creates a few functions, right? So by default, it hints. Uh, just align my naming. This is create size hints. This is create sizes. Size hints. Okay, so let me, I think we are running out of time. Let me quickly wrap it up or just do more. Okay, so here, hint resize column, right? So this is unhint. Unhint resize. And then we have the hint resize. Okay, and then we have this value, right? If undefined by default. So here, I am again, same thing. We are going to update this value with functions. So this thing, we are going to make it, we're going to turn it into a star again. So here we have our writable star that has this value. Oops. I'm going to return this writable star. Now, of course, also functions like unhint resize and hint resize. So here, this one we are gonna set as undefined, and here we are going to set like this. And this value, of course, is going to pass in. So we have the header size. This one. We have the sizes array, or the sizes. Which is a writable with a number array. So this is our sizes array. But we can't use the dollar prefix sign again, right? So here, we will have to read out the value, right? Sizes array value is equal to the get sizes array. So now we read it out from the store, and then we use the value and sign it over here. So this is row. Of course, we're gonna change it to the index, and this one, this the guide position. We're gonna call it the resize guide position, so it's neutral. And then this one is the index, right? So we're gonna change it to the index, which is neutral. This is position. This is the limit. Okay. So here, yep. Here we have this create size hint. I'm gonna use it. Right. So here we can create column resize guide position, the hint column resize, and hint resize column, and we pass in the. So for this one, we're gonna pass in the header width, size, and then this is the sizes array. So now we don't need this. And then this one also we don't need anymore. This is the row resize guide. This is the hint resize row. This is for the row. This is row. This is the other way around. Column either right. This is row width. Column right. Row heights. Okay. So so the reason hey, hold on, what's this? Okay. So the reason I pass in the store directly instead of the store value is because once you create this call this function, that value is being passed in, and that's it, right? Unless when you do the store changes, you mutate the original underlying array, or else you can't reach the latest value of the store value if you just pass in the store value directly. So you have to pass in the store, and then when you need it, you read the store value at the point when you need it, right? If you just pass in a value, then it's that value. You can't really change read the latest value of the store anymore. So here we pass this to in, and then we have this hint and unhint. The only thing is that now hold on. So now is that this one we have to make it as const, so that instead of, if you don't have it, you will see that this type is that it's an array of either a writable or a function, right? It's an array of either these two. But we actually have three items, and we know the first one is always an star, and then the second two is always an array. So we make it as const to tell TypeScript that it's a tuple read-only array of three items. One is the star, second and last is the function, right? And in that case, you won't get error when you call this on hint. Yep. So of course, one thing we have to take note is that now we call this hint and unhint. So the thing is, when we call the column resize guide, we pass it in index, position, and limit, right? But then over here, we um, actually assume this is the position, limit, and the column. So the column is actually the column is actually the index. So I'm gonna rename this index. Renamed it already. And then here we also renamed this into the position and rename this to limits. So same thing we're gonna do with the row resize guide. This is the position, this is the index, and then this is the limit. Let's see, is there an error? Okay, we need to pass in the value of the star. Instead, just the star directly into the props. Here, let's see, we have, okay, something is still off. Let's see. Size guide. Let's refresh. Okay, something is still off. Um, oh, this one is. Okay, and everything is working, right? So we've managed to collapse or combine the two function, right? For the resize, the sizes and the size hints into a function, and it just returns functions, right? So here we managed to abstract these two out into its own function, and then we use like writable store to um, to so that we can set the value, update the value of the variable over here, and then still have React to treat it to treat it as a reactive variables like this, right? I guess that's it over here. Now the bigger one will be the action, and I'm just gonna leave it here for now. And we will, and you can try it out yourself. To if you wanna refactor this, drag action out as as a um, abstracted reusable action. Then or else we're gonna do it in the next week, right? I think we spend quite a lot of time this week already. So I guess I'll see you next week. And that's it for today. And see you. Bye bye.